Hello, everyone. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown, one of the best and hottest sports talk shows in the universe. By the way, we need more subscribers. We need you, just like Uncle Sam, hit that subscription button and hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next videos, which are every day. We're Caitlin Clark all day, every day. No, we're going to do, we do the NBA. We do football. Football is my favorite sport. So if you're a football fan, stick around. Stick around. You're going to get a lot of football from me. I know a lot about football. I'm watching this 60 years. Guess what? We're also going to do the Olympics, and we're going to hit a preview of the track and field Olympic trials. We're going to cover them coming up this weekend. And then we'll also cover the gymnastic Olympic trials, and we're going to cover the Olympics, obviously. So if you haven't subscribed, please, again, do that. We're looking for 1,000 subscribers, especially if you're under the age of 45. We're looking for you, females, trying to increase those demographics. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to make an intelligent, non-insulting comments, we more than welcome those. We get 99% are good. And we have a live show every Monday, except for major holidays, 7 and 8 Eastern time. You can either call in or make comments. And you can suggest topics and things like that. You want to suggest videos for us to do? Put them down in the comments. Someone did make a nice suggestion. I am going to do one on Dan Trossi and Caitlin Clark's college careers and compare them to you. It might not be today. It'll be today or tomorrow. Instead, we got something more important to talk about today. We have a number of topics we're going to talk about today. We're just going to do one topic on this one. We'll have like 3 or 4 videos out for you today. The first one we're going to talk about is the Deranged Sherly Swoopes. And I think everybody watching this, I don't have to go over the background very long. First of all, she's one of the all-time greats. I'm a big fan of hers playing wise. I want to stress that. And she was probably one of the top 5 or 6 college players of all time and one of the top 5 or 6 pro players of all time. And she had, Rob likes it because she plays defense. She was 3-time defensive player of the year. She has a great all-around game. She really had no real weaknesses to her game. So she's a legend. Okay, but she's an idiot. So we're going to,
yes.
And initially she became famous.
That's being polite. What you said was polite.
Yeah, she became famous again because she put down Caitlin Clark on a Gilbert Arenas disaster cast, and she basically said that Caitlin Clark was 25 when she's just turned 22, like a week or two after that. She said that she's in her 5th year. If she's going to break the record, she's got to do it in 4 years. That was her 4th year, and she actually played fewer games because of COVID, because COVID wasn't a full year. So that was stupid.
Yeah.
And she also said that Caitlin took 40 shots a game. At the time, Caitlin was taking about 20 her senior year. She ended up with 22. And for her career, she took 20. And her senior year for Sherly Swoopes, she took 19 in college.
Big difference.
She was a pump, too. And I'm not criticizing her. She was a great scorer. But I'm just pointing that out. So, that's a ridiculous thing for her to say. And then later, she talked about the transition to the pros, and I don't have a problem with the first comment she said. She said, she's not going to dominate right away. Only Clarksies would say that. What I call their name for super fans, or right. A 15-year-old girl doesn't know any better. We all know she wasn't going to dominate right away. Forwards dominate more than guards in the WNBA, nice. And she wasn't 6'4" like Candace Parker, who's the only one that really dominated the rookie year. So nobody was claiming that had any, really real knowledge. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So I didn't have a problem with that comment. But then she said, at some point, you got to guard somebody. So she basically inferred that she played no defense, which isn't true. She took off a little bit, in the college. She took off a little bit. Since she's been in the pro, she's tried very hard to always be playing defense. And she's also averaging 1 block, which is great for a guard, and over 1 steal a game. And I noticed that Sherly Swoopes didn't say anything about her defense anymore. So anyways. That's the background. After that, she never really apologized. Yeah. She acknowledged she made 1 mistake out of the 3 that she made, and then she never really apologized. She just kind of reached out to Angel, who reached out to Caitlin Clark, and that was it. And she goes, "We had a private conversation."
She said they spoke, which I don't believe that.
I don't know, but she never apologized. She just said, "I made 1 mistake." So. And then she gets on a week later, or 3 days later, whatever it was, and she goes, "Black people can't be racist." Now, Rob was more upset about that comment than I was.
Yeah, that's just totally stupid. Of course we can. I mean, I know because I could say it, and she's going to smack me in the back of my head up in heaven. My mom was kind of a racist, so okay. I won't say what she said, but anyway. that for her to make that kind of statement was really dumb to say.
All right, so let's bring that up to date. Most of you probably already knew that. Just in case you didn't, that's the background. So she knows basketball, but that doesn't mean she's not a moron. All right, so the first thing is, so Gilbert Arenas was saying that Angel Reese was a bit of a bully.
He said that she was big. You know, she's kind of big. She kind of moves around. She's a bully. He says she's a bullier.
Right. So Gilbert Arenas said that Angel Reese was a bully because of her game underneath the basket. And Cheryl Swoopes says she's not a bully about Angel Reese. And then she said, if you want to talk about bullies, we can talk about every time Caitlin has the ball, she pushes off. Rob, I'll let you go first.
What a
every time she says, go ahead, Rob.
What a stupid, idiotic comment. Anybody, those of us watching, if you play pickup ball, any kind of basketball, if you're driving to the basket, your arm's going to go out and you're going to touch the person. You might initiate a contact. So that's not being a bully. All right. Being a bully is where you knock somebody to the ground, blindside them like Carter did, or like Angel Reese did, and throw her down by her neck. And by the way, didn't get a flagrant foul until like the next day. They didn't even review that. The one with Carter, they'd upgrade it, and then they didn't call it on Reese, when she did to Caitlin. So, but I mean, what a dumb statement. I mean, I can't believe it. I can't believe she would say something like that. And the only reason why she's saying that, and she's, like I said, I always liked her. I've always liked her as a player. But when she opens her mouth, it's like, no, the things that come out do not make any sense. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, there used to be hand checking. If someone was hand checking me, I would slap their hand off of me. So am I a bully for doing that? And then I watched some YouTube videos of her playing basketball. And I think I see her driving to the basket and her giving the person a little shove with her left arm out, like she said Caitlin's doing. So I guess
she would never do that, Rob. Stop it.
Well, I guess she's a bully too. I mean, I guess she doesn't know what the bully is. A bully is a coward, and someone like Reese is a bully because when also Carter, because when she did it, or when a bully does something, they won't admit it, or they won't face up to it. So like when they did it to Caitlin, pardon?
They do cheap shots. They do cheap shots where they start the cheap shot, and I'm going to get
right. Yeah, well, yeah. They start it, but then they run away. They might hide behind the teacher, or they might hide behind like Angel Reese is doing social media and cry wolf and poor me. That's a bully. And bullies are cowards. Instead of facing up and saying I would have more respect for her. She said, "Yeah, I did it." I'd do it again, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay." But at least you're admitting you're a bully. But to sit there and cry like, "Oh, I knocked her down," and well, she's worse than me, or like the Swoopes. Well, Clark's worse, bullied than her. Every time she drives, what are you talking about? You're a freaking idiot.
Rob, it's funny you said about what comes out of her mouth and licking her mouth, because when you watch her talk about Candace Clark, you see the disgusted look on her face, in her mouth. You can see that, and she didn't age well, No. And she's gotten heavy, and it's kind of weird because when she was younger, she had like a cute smile, and she just kind of had a nice demeanor to her.
It's like an angry black woman. This is an angry black woman, Mark.
Now she turned into just the opposite, and so it's like it's hard for me to look at her anymore. Because I had I looked highly at her before. I was so fond of her. And Rob, I don't know what to say, is that I know that I've watched Caitlin Clark play for 4 years. And anytime she puts her arms out and does that, it's because the other person's putting their arm in there, which, by the way, is illegal. If you put it in there, you can't stop. Even if you don't touch the person, you can't put it in there to stop their path, especially if they're going there first. That's also illegal. But it's usually like they grab her arm, she pushes it off. Or, once in a while, I'm sure when she's driving to the basket and there's a defender there, she puts her arm up, and almost every player does that to kind of protect themselves too. They put their left arm up when they're pushing, do the layup.
Mark, that's part of the motion of going of doing a layup. You wouldn't make the layup if you just had your hand to the side and shoot the ball up with one hand.
Well, you get hit the face too often. You get
Yeah.
hit the face too often if you don't put your left arm in, if you're driving with your right hand, and vice versa.
Right.
So that's the times I've seen it. And Caitlin Clark, because they're so intent on stopping her because she can pass and shoot, she gets that more than any other player. And plus, she got the ball in her hand a lot and dribbles a lot. So she's going to get that clutching and grabbing and holding and hooking more than anybody else. So she's developed a habit of kicking them away right away with her hand, because guess what? They were not supposed to be able to get away with that, but the ref's not going to call it every time.
Right.
If it's incidental, they're not going to call it every time. So the refs actually allow you to push away since they haven't called the whistle yet. Mm-hmm. So it's not really, if it was illegal, they'd call it. If it's excessive, they would call it on Caitlin Clark. And maybe they do if she starts it, but I haven't seen that on her. I've seen her, the defenders start it.
But Mark, what's your definition of, what's your definition of a bully?
A bully that picks on someone smaller than you, that's what I think of as a bully, Someone who's, in a position that can't defend themselves. Caitlin Clark's not picking at people that can't defend themselves. These people are guarding them. She just pushed her arm away.
And the whole thing is, Mark, also, bullying is not just physical, especially nowadays. It's social media. Caitlin Clark is being bullied all over the place on social media by all these haters. That's another form of, that's almost worse. At least the physical, you can kind of like, shrug it off, whatever. But it gets to you mentally. If you keep on hearing all these things from all these haters, like you're this, you're that, and that's what it is now. That's what happens with the young kids in school now. Is the bullying? It's on social media.
Yeah, they use social media to bully people verbally, to do that. Later on in the broadcast, we have a video out that just went out, I think yesterday or the day before, about how poorly Angel Reese is handling everything, especially the media, and especially the criticism that she has received for things that she's done. And so this is how delusional, and I think almost everybody except for the avid Angel Reese fans agrees with that. In fact, she's gotten a lot of criticism from mainstream and on the media for the fact that she's handled it all so poorly. And she's always playing the victim when she gets up there. So she handled it poorly. And she said that Angel Reese has handled the criticism, the not so good stuff coming her way. She's handled it very well for a rookie. 100% false. Okay. So it shows you how biased she is towards Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark has handled it unbelievable, and Angel Reese has handled it unbelievably poorly, probably the worst of all the rookies. So for her to say that, I don't know. I'm flabbergasted about how stupid she is and how biased she is, and I suspect how racist she is. Like I said, I don't like to throw that word out lightly, Rob, but she loves Angel Reese.
I don't do that either. But like for her to say like blacks are racist, there's a perfect example. How are you going to say that? About that you said that Angel Reese is handling it well when she doesn't even do an interview after she committed those fouls, or she's acting like a childish little person on the sidelines when someone does a cheap shot. How is that? What does that mean? You can defend. I understand, like being black. I understand that we've had things happen to us and things like that. But you got to defend it the right way. If someone black is doing something wrong, I'm not going to defend them, and I'm going to say you're wrong. You're totally wrong what you're doing. And if a white person calls it out, don't try to say, oh, they're just being racist. No, they see the same thing I do. It's just that they're a different color. Right is right. That's the main thing. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If you do something wrong, doesn't matter what color you are, it's not right.
And I understand that part of it is jealousy. Clearly that's what's fueling this, because back when she played, they didn't make any money. And she probably didn't. She did get a shoe deal, but there wasn't much money in the shoe deal. And she didn't really get any commercial endorsements because the players weren't getting them back then, like commercials and things like that. Right. So she never made a lot of money from basketball, I suspect. I know she did some coaching. I don't know how much money she made in her career. I'm not even getting into that. I know she made way less than they make now and way less than Caitlin Clark. So I know it's not all racism or all stupidity. Some of it's jealousy. I think that's what's fueling it, though. And why she's more jealous. She's not jealous of Angel Reese's money, but she's jealous of Caitlin Clark's money, which tells me part of it's racism. That's just my take on it.
Well,
again, I don't like to throw that word out.
One person made a kind of interesting comment also. That they said that maybe she's afraid of Caitlin Clark breaking her record. Actually looking better than she was, because she was a fantastic ball player pro.
I mean, she's
college.
the same. It's the same reason that Diana Taurasi. It's the same reason. I agree with you. And
Yeah.
that's so the two of them are really they just feel threatened by her, and I think that's pretty clear. Other players have not. Lisa Leslie doesn't feel threatened by her. Maybe it's because she plays a completely different position. Candace Parker doesn't seem threatened by her. I don't know why these two women feel so threatened.
Because they have confidence in themselves. They know what they did. They know when you don't have to say stuff like that when you know you're good. But I mean, that's what Swoopes realized. You're one of the best. So Caitlin Clark doesn't even come close to you yet. So what are you worried about? She is not even coming close to you yet.
Cheryl Miller hasn't said anything. In fact, when they interviewed Cheryl Miller, she said, I don't get into that greatest of all time. I don't care whether people call me that or not, or who the greatest of all time. I don't get into that, she said, because she's secure in her abilities and what she did in her career.
And as a person, that's the whole thing. And as a person,
Cheryl Miller sometimes comes across as a good person. She was a bit of a hot dog, when she played, but she did a cartwheel in front of the bench of the other team in the finals of her sophomore year. That was Pat Summitt. And Pat Summitt didn't forgive her when she was the coach of the Olympic team. There's a story behind that, but I won't get into it. Oh, she said that she would take Angel Reese for Rookie of the Year over Caitlin Clark. Big surprise there, Rob.
Geez, wow.
Coming.
I am so surprised.
I was shocked. I fell off my chair when I read that.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Gee.
We're going to cover that in another video because Caitlin Clark was named best rookie both by ESPN, a different author than the last one, and also by USA Today by an author, Lindsay Schnell, the same author who said that all black people should be the face of the league because that's the way it's always been. So they also on the podcast, they talked about the uproar. She said, why wasn't there an uproar when Angel Reese got taken down by the neck by Thomas? And I've covered this before, but I'll repeat it again. Yeah, it wasn't the flow of the game. I don't know if that's really a basketball play when you go that extreme, but it was still a basketball play in the sense that it was in the flow of the game. Number two, she was penalized properly for her at the time, unlike Caitlin Clark's. Mm-hmm. She got penalized because she got thrown out of the game. Right. Okay, so there was two major differences. It wasn't as much of a cheap shot as what happened to Caitlin Clark, and also Caitlin Clark, they didn't get a real penalty for it. They gave her a free throw instead of what it should have been, which would have been a flagrant 2. So that's why there was not as much of an uproar, because she got properly penalized at the time. Mm-hmm. Maybe she should have got another game after that. That's another argument.
Right.
But that's it. So that's what she said. So you can tell that she's biased about that. That's why there wasn't an uproar, and she was thrown out. And besides, and Gilbert Arenas said that to her. She goes, well, she wants to be the villain. And then she goes, oh, well, she said that in college. She hasn't said that in the pros. Then they showed the
I know. I'm like,
she'll take that role. She said it in pros too. So,
yes.
She's always lying, Cheryl Swoopes, and then she looks like a moron.
Like I said, when she opens her mouth, I mean, this is what comes out of it. With a Cruella de Vil look. She looks like Cruella de Vil to me. And she just like says like stuff that doesn't even make sense. It's like that. From the Rush Hour movie. Do you understand the words coming out of your mouth? No, you don't.
And first game against this guy, Angel Reese took Caitlin Clark down with an elbow. That's a bully. She's bigger than her and stronger than her, and there was no reason for it. They really weren't doing much jostling whatsoever. She was just kind of like on her in the back. And so that's a bully. Caitlin Clark never did that to Angel Reese or tried to do that to Angel Reese. And anytime I've seen Caitlin Clark do that, the other person started it. I know people have said there's this clip out, but every time I've seen it, someone else started it with Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying she's perfect, but
no, that's the whole thing. We're not saying that Caitlin Clark is just, like some people said, oh, you don't say anything about Caitlin Clark. Yes, we do. That's not true. I mean, and then Caitlin Clark she doesn't out and out like go out to try to hurt somebody. That's also part of a bully. I mean, you can foul somebody. I mean, I foul people, but I didn't mean to. I mean, it's a foul. But I haven't blatantly go up. Even we even defended Reese's last flagrant foul when she hit her upside the head, and we both defended. It's like it wasn't a malicious act. It was just like she looked like she was swinging for the ball, missed and hit her in the head. And it's any blow to the head is a flagrant one. So.
If you're a hater out there and you're going to tell me about this video where they show Caitlin Clark doing things, they don't show what happened before that in any of the videos. And also, there's one where she looks like Caitlin Clark just reaches out, hits the person in the face when they're lining up for an inbounds play. Well, it turns out her teammate of the other person stuck their hand in there in front of Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark tried to pull it away, and then the other person pushed her hand up and put Caitlin Clark's hand up, and you can see that in slow motion, but you can't see it from that first and original angle. And so I don't know what to say, but I've never seen her instigate anything dirty. If someone else says something to her, she does it back because she's not going to take any crap. Otherwise, they'll walk all over her.
Yeah, that's just part of basketball. But I mean, even then, she's not. I mean, in her press conferences and the way she carries herself, she's not going out there picking fights or. I mean, she's done the stare down or whatever, but she's not blatantly going out to try to hurt or injure a person like Reese did or like Carter did. That's just blatant. That's blatant.
I noticed the trash talking always started with the other player or maybe some dirty play, and then Caitlin Clark would do like sink a three and then do some trash talking because the person was being dirty. Well,
that's Mark. That's what I used to do. I mean, when I played, I'd come in the court and the guy would be like, "Oh, he ain't no good. He's no good." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm no good." And I'd come down and hit a couple of shots, and I'd be like, "Who's guarding me? Who's guarding me?"
Did you dunk on him, Rob, and then do that too small thing?
No, I didn't do that. I just like looked at him.
They didn't do that back then, Rob. So
no, who's guarding me?
Someone made a comment here about when we had a nice video, I thought, about Caitlin Clark. We said she's not perfect, and then some guy goes, "She just shoved some girl down into the ground." I go, "Well, what happened before that? Tell me that." And I didn't get a response yet, so because I want to know, I want to see the video before, because every time I've seen Caitlin Clark do anything like that, the other person started it. That's just me. Maybe I missed one, but I watched almost 100 games of hers.
Oh, one. Wait, Mark, that one. But that's so.
I've never seen her started. Like, really?
Yeah. So she's a bully. Oh, what a brute she is. That brute. We got to change our videos now, Mark. From to Caitlin Clark, the brute.
The brute bully. The cheap shot artist, Caitlin Clark. Anyways, that's our take on. I don't know what the proper adjective for her is. Deranged, moron,
illogical.
Yeah, I mean, she has no grasp of reality. She's not objective at all, and it's a shame because don't you think we'd want to hear from her? She knows the league and she knows basketball, so you know that she's not being objective, and so her opinion's meaningless.
Well, that's the point, Mark. Where I'm kind of disappointed in her. I'm really disappointed in you. You've played basketball most of your life, and you're going to say stupid things like this. That makes you look bad. It just takes down you're a legend, and that makes you look really bad. Stop it.
Stop it. As someone says, she went from a well-respected, great player to a joke, and that's on her. She's a joke right now to 90%. The only person that don't think she's a joke are like Clark haters or Angel Reese delusional lovers. Not saying you can't love Angel Reese, but ones that hate Clark just because they like Angel Reese. So anyway, that's our take. It's pretty sad. It's really sad. It's like, I don't know what to say. Maybe she'll make a comeback and we'll see how she plays or something.
No, she's done.
Mondays, Eastern time, 7 to 8 is our live show. Please join us. You can call in, you can make comments and tell us topics you want to talk about. If you haven't subscribed to, what are you waiting for? We need subscribers. Hit that like button if you like the video. And guess what? Make intelligent, non-insulting comments, which you've been doing a great job in because we have the smartest listeners in the world. Yes. Right, Rob?
That's right. All right, y'all. Peace out.